Hey NAI football fans, Corey Thorpe here with another edition of the NAIF Ball Podcast, powered by AdCraft USA, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Our friends at AdCraft have been with us for many years now. They've run web stores for us multiple times. These guys are NAI fans and family who are experts in the apparel and merchandise world. AdCraft allows you to take the hassle out of ordering. Let their knowledgeable design and customer service staff handle everything from hosting the store online, shipping the product, and helping your customers so you can get back to the game. Find them online at adcraftusa.com. All right, NAI football fans, this is Corey Thorpe back with another edition of the NAIF Ball Podcast powered by AdCraft. Custom apparel and merch, they're the best. You heard them in the intro. So let's get down to business. Tonight we have Tim Mathis, head coach of the Cumberland Phoenix. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. Doing well. Getting ready for spring practice. It starts next week.
Heck yeah, that is one of the best things. It's like just as soon as the weather starts to turn warm, you're like, all right, it's time for spring ball. Let's go. But it was a banner year for y'all. Your best year at Cumberland so far, and the best season for the Phoenix since 2012. Um, just talk to me about uh, did you know going into this year that you had a chance to have a really good squad?
We definitely thought we had a pretty good team. We finished the season before 5-5, but we kind of finished the season in a positive note, and more or less everybody from that group coming back. We played a lot of freshmen and sophomores that year, and so they're come back. So you're 5-5 with those guys who made a lot of mistakes, but they got to play a bunch. So coming back, we did think we had a good team. It's just until you play, you don't know. And then being in the Mid South, you don't have an easy game. There's not one you just can circle and say, okay, we got that one. There's not one of those. So you feel that way, but until you get into the season, you just don't know.
Well, you start 4-0. It's a beautiful start for you, getting a nice out-of-conference win in St. Louis against Mobap, an out-of-conference win against Florida Memorial, and adding a couple wins in the middle against Union and St. Andrews. It's beautiful, and it's a really good matchup, honestly, in your fifth game against Campbellsville, one that I remember very much looking forward to. Um, but unfortunately for y'all, Campbellsville comes from behind and wins it on the back of a couple of interceptions, one that was returned for 6. And talk to me about kind of figuring out who your team was in that game with those picks.
That game was real tough. It's one that we thought we could win. They did their job and they won the game, and we had to lead a couple of times and just couldn't hold it. But you know, they took the lead over. We're driving to tie the game in the fourth quarter, and we had the ball bounce, went through our tight end's hands and bounced off his helmet right into a striding safety who was nowhere near the ball. It was going to be a 30 or 40-yard gain for a pick six. So that put us back 13 and dug us in a hole we couldn't beat. I mean, we're in the game, and that's one that we just let get away. And to their credit, they did what they needed to do to win the game. But I think it taught us, because it taught us one thing: we didn't quit in the game. We came right back down and drove all the way down the field and threw an interception right there at the very end. Trying to score to get the game, try to kick an onside kick. So you don't necessarily want to say good losses or anything, because there's no such thing. But it was a character building in the sense that we knew our kids 2 or 3 years ago we quit, and there was no quit in the kids, and it was we knew we had a team that could compete.
And then the very next week, you go and you host the number 4 team in the nation at the time, and you end up beating them 21-14. And honestly, your defense just stood up and stood out, holding that Bethel Wildcat team to 3 of 12 on third down and one of 3 on fourth down. that seems like a very Cumberland game where you took 38 minutes out of it. Talk to me about getting a that feather in your cap.
Yeah, I mean it was great, and that game is always, other than I think maybe 2018 when Coach Dearman was there and they kind of blew us out. It's always been close, and so it's a close game, and that game was really, it ended up 21-14, but we were beating them 21-7. They weren't, our defense played lights out. They weren't moving the ball, and we decided, I decided, we made a bonehead decision and went for it on a fourth down on our side of the 50, just trying to put the game away, and just gave them momentum that basically gave them a touchdown. They didn't score on that one, but we gave them a short field and they scored, so we got them back in the game. That if we punt, they probably can't drive the field on us, and we probably get the ball back in good field position. But I was really proud of the team. It's always a tough game with Bethel, but that kind of proved that, hey, we can play with the top teams in the country, because they were a little down offensively, but their defense was stout.
Yeah, it was. And going from stout defense to stout defense, even the next week, you faced a Georgetown team that also had a great defense. And even though you come up short against them, you make them look extremely human. I mean, Darius Neal only goes for a buck 26, but he did it on 20 carries. So
Yeah, and he really did it in the second half. We held him in check the first half, and that was a game that, and we were still in it. We had a chance to, we had a ball, the chance to drive down and take the lead, and we couldn't get it over the goal line for points. That was our offense. It was probably the one game where our offense really let us down, and we couldn't get anything going. Again, defense played lights out to that Georgetown team that made it to the playoffs. But that, again, we didn't quit on them, and that proved that, again, that this is a team that, we're as good as anybody in our conference. We kind of saw that right there.
yeah, and look, I mean, I have folks telling me about Campbellsville and to keep an eye on Campbellsville. And I had been watching y'all and saw that 5-5 in 23 and knew that there was a possibility. Didn't think it'd be this good. It was so much fun to watch. You end the season with a nice business trip to Montgomery, a 50-0 win. But let's take a look at your team coming back as you're trying to improve upon that 7-3 record. Offensively, you do have the majority of your running backs, and for what it's worth, basically all your wide receivers coming back. But really, the what you're going to have to replace is the most important thing, and that's the guy that's taking the snaps.
Yeah, Luke's not going to come back and play his last year. He just decided to hang up his cleats. Had a great year. All conference quarterback, for goodness sakes. And as far as offensively, it's just him and Brody Hall that was our center. Those are the only two guys that we have to replace, and we feel really good about where we're at with that offensive line. We're gonna be Brody was our leader. He was our cog and all that, but we're going to be fine offensive line wise. We're going to be really good there, and we just got to decide on. We got four quarterbacks here in the spring. We signed a couple, but we got four that are going to have at it this spring that we're comfortable with them, and don't think we're going to miss a beat with those guys. Whoever wins that job, and it's going to be an open competition to see who gets it.
What's harder to replace in a triple scheme like that? Your center who knows all of his protections and slides and all those line calls, or the quarterback that knows how he needs to read that D?
I, I mean, I'll just say the quarterback just because of all the reads and stuff, and um, of course Brody was the brains of the whole operation, especially up front. He made all our calls, blocking scheme calls and stuff. So, but I think we got guys that can do that. But obviously, it's, you want somebody back there calling signals that's confident, and I think it showed from Luke from the previous year to this year. As soon as he got comfortable in there, it was just lights out of how he played, and so that is going to be, as far as offense, that's what we've got to do. We have, if we get somebody that can function there, we're really good at every other position, and that's one good thing. We got running backs that, and we lost all conference running back, but we have one that's coming back that was a freshman, also the freshman of the year in the conference. Just a crazy stat about Cornejo is I've never seen this in my 20 plus years of coaching college, that he did not have a negative carry all year. So, when you look at the stats, it has gains, losses, total yards. His losses were 0. I've never seen it. And that just he got hit behind the line several times. It wasn't like he was making it through every time. He's a difference maker and a special, and we're lucky. He's just going to be a sophomore, and we redshirted a really good one that played as a freshman that we redshirted because of who we had. So, we can lean on that till our quarterback gets real comfortable as well, which we're excited about.
That is some want to right there. I want
Nice.
to not have a negative play. That is all that is. Defensively, you've got a lot coming back. Most of that defensive line that you had a year ago is coming back, and a heavy majority of basically everyone else, to a defense that was a top 15 defense by SP Plus, coming in at number 11. Talk to me about becoming even more killer.
Yeah, that's just replacing a couple of defensive end slot guys and a safety, and the rest of everybody else is coming back that played, and we had an interior lineman who very well could be when he's healthy, might be one of our best, that didn't play last year because of injury, coming back. So we're excited about that. Josh Jones is his name, and it's just we think we're going to be really, really good there. And with the pickups we had, through recruiting or whatever, that we're just excited. We're ready to get through. My thing, spring's a necessary evil to me, is just, you want to get through it with no injuries or whatever, but you're excited to get back on the field. But, really looking forward to this coming season. It's going to be a challenge of who we're playing, but we're looking forward to it.
That is the truth. Now in spring, because of the physical nature of the offense you run, how much banging do y'all really do in spring?
What I I've been a believer. We don't shy away from that because I think it builds toughness. I don't, you know, I don't I don't like not hitting. I think that gives a weak mentality of it. If you just get used to that mentality, and I think that carries over. I think carries over offensively, defensively. It carries over that hopefully when you show up on that field, that maybe you're even up 7 points for the game starts, just because people are going to know we're fixing to play Cumberland and they're going to hit you in the mouth for 60 minutes.
That is definitely the truth, and I've seen it time and again where it is hard to play against that
It,
style of offense for 60.
yeah, it is, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to coach. If you just have to have the buying mentality of getting after, you got to get after them every play, and that's. Well, I think we've had, that kind of mentality. I think our guys take that mentality to the next level.
So, Coach, the Mid South is an interesting place again this year. You've got a couple of new head coaches, Faulkner at Georgetown and at Bethel. You've got, a team in Bethel that wasn't quite what they had been in previous years. You've got a team in Lindsay that's been struggling to find purchase the last couple of years. Not to say that it's not still a top conference in the NAI, because it absolutely is. But talk to me about the changes, and if you think y'all have a chance to really make some noise with y'all's window being kind of open here with all these young players.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we have a chance. It's just it's the mindset you take into it. You can't take any game for granted. You can't say, well, okay, Coach Oliver left Georgetown, Coach Jasper left Bethel. They're not going to be any good. That's, you know, the players didn't leave, and they all had pretty decent seasons. And the guys that took over, especially at those two schools, the guys that took over were there. So it's not like they're bringing a total new deal in per se. That there's still guys there that are going to have that same type of culture. So, but we do feel good about where we're at and as a team, and it kind of builds on. And I've said it the last couple of years, and it's crazy that it's happened this year. Is our last three recruiting classes with this one. Every year we keep saying, well, this is the best one. And we're, this year, I think we had the best recruiting class we've had since I've been here. And I thought the previous year we did, and the year before that. So it's really been kind of a snowball effect for us. So that makes us feel really positive going into next year is, who we got coming back and who we got coming in, that we have a chance to be special, but that's talk. We got to prove that we're going to do that.
How much do you think that it helps that y'all are basically in a suburb of a major city that is absolutely exploding population wise?
It's a big deal just being, and that's the thing. Tim Mathis never talks bad about school, but we're actually somewhere where you don't have to go an hour and a half to get somewhere, and it's just lucky. We're lucky that we're in Lebanon, Tennessee, 35 miles east of Nashville. But it does help where we're at. Tennessee, probably at 75, 80-mile radius, is the best football in the state of Tennessee, top to bottom. There's good teams in East Tennessee. There's really good teams in West Tennessee, but all of them together, we're in. Most of the Kentucky schools come down to our area to recruit kids, and so we're really, really fortunate to be where we're at. Again, destination wise, just because there's so much to do for kids in Nashville. They're not having to go out and sit in a cornfield or in a cow field to do something, and nothing wrong with that. I'd probably like that more than anything, but it is easy, and we're a pretty good easy drive from North Alabama and North Georgia, which helps a whole bunch too.
That is true. Tennessee is not that is not that tall top to bottom. You can easily get there. I mean, heck, you look at what Vanderbilt's doing just down the road, and the season that they had, and we all know that it is just so terribly easy to win at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, well, I tell you, if you'll read one or two of those guys and stop blocking them, and that's what they started doing, it makes it easier. It dang sure make it easier in the SEC. But yeah, I mean, it is. I'm sure it helps them. I haven't really talked to them about that, but I'm sure it really does help them to be in Nashville. It is a good place to be, and it's the only bad part around here is it's hard to find a house that's not 3 times overpriced, but just because of all the movement in.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. That is it's about the same where we're at down here in Wakulla County. It's getting crazy. But Coach, what area of your program, whether it's going to be something that's on the field or something that's off the field, are y'all really wanting to focus and home in on in 2025?
we got to get better. We got to get better in our special teams. I think that that's the area that a lot of just normal football fans or whatever don't look at. That you can lose or win a game easily there, and I think we got to do a little better special teams wise. Just because when you look at our season 7-3, and our 3 losses were by a total of 21 points completely. So you know that's not not a lot of corrections could be done, and we have a fantastic season. And some of that was because of special teams areas. So we're gonna really concentrate on that this spring, and so our whole off season so far, and going into spring practice too, is just going to be finish, because those 3 games we didn't finish, and that's going to be our goal, is to finish, finish every game. We don't started well in several of those that we lost, but finish them.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming on the NAIF Ball Podcast. We appreciate you and love having you on every time that we get to have you. And just, man, looking forward to getting football again. I mean, flag is great. Do not get me wrong, and I wish more people would add flag.
But we just added it.
Yes! There are dozens of us. That is huge. I tell you, that's a growing sport, and they're certainly going to be able to profit from the fact that you've got an NFL franchise that's right down the road. As much as the Atlanta Falcons have done for it in Georgia and the Buccaneers have done for it in Florida, I am absolutely certain that the Titans are pouring into it as well. But as much as I love flag, there's nothing like conventional football to get you there.
Absolutely, and you got to get up from. We still got several. You're from down that area. We got several North Florida guys up here. You need to get up here to Lebanon and catch a game and come see what we're all about.
I hear that. I know you got some kids from Bluntstown, and absolutely nobody who listens to this podcast knows where Bluntstown is. But growing up, Bluntstown is about halfway between Panama City, where I was born and raised, and Tallahassee. So
Yep.
you go through Bluntstown, and you know that you are halfway to the football game. Is effectively the my marker for it, going to Florida State games growing up. So
That's right.
love it. And
Grew up there in the summers. That's kind of the connection too. My aunt and uncle lived there,
did you
so I
really? I
grew
didn't
up
know
in the
that.
summers there.
We might we might be kin at some point. I don't know. I got a lot of family over there.
We might be.
Well, Coach, thanks again for coming on, and appreciate all you do. And I know you said off air, wish you could show the computer to show off the sticker, but you're rocking the NAIF ball sticker, and appreciate all you've done for us.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for everything you do for NAI football. You guys are great, man. Y'all do a tremendous job.